Elias Verne had been alone in deep space for 11 days when his ship finally reached the coordinates. The star nearby was dead, a collapsed sphere of dark gravity that swallowed light instead of giving it. No planets circled it. No trade routes passed this way. According to every official record, nothing of value should exist here, yet the sensors on his small reconnaissance ship said otherwise. Power signals pulsed faintly ahead, old but stable, artificial, impossible. Elias slowed the ship and stared at the drifting shape before him. The station was enormous, larger than most human cities in orbit. Its outer hull was cracked and burned, scarred by weapons far stronger than anything humanity had ever built. Ancient alien symbols covered the metal, worn smooth by time. "This place is supposed to be dead," Elias said softly, even though no one was listening. He docked carefully. The airlock responded the moment he connected, opening as if it had been waiting. Inside, the station was dark but not silent. Machines hummed under the floor. Lights flickered on as he walked, following him like curious eyes. The air was clean, perfectly balanced, as if the station had never stopped functioning. Elias moved slowly, rifle ready, training guiding every step. He had been a soldier before becoming a scout, and instincts never faded. Something about this place felt wrong, not dangerous, a different kind of wrong. He passed halls filled with strange structures, tall rings of crystal and metal that bent light around them. Some rooms looked like laboratories, others felt like temples. Time itself seemed distorted. His helmet clock skipped forward, then back, then settled again. "This is not abandoned," he whispered. Deeper inside, he found signs of recent use, warm surfaces, active energy lines. Someone or something had been here not long ago. Then he felt it, a presence. The air shifted behind him. Elias turned fast, weapon raised. She stood there without sound, as if she had always been part of the room. Tall and slender, her form clearly alien but balanced and calm. Her skin shimmered softly like starlight seen through water. Her eyes were deep, glowing with patterns that moved slowly as if they held entire skies inside them. She did not look afraid. She looked surprised. They stared at each other in silence. Then she spoke. "You weren't supposed to see me yet." Her voice was smooth and clear, not echoing through the air but inside his mind, perfectly understandable. Elias froze. Every part of his training told him to react, to shout, to fire, to retreat. But he did none of those things. Something in her tone stopped him. Not fear, not threat, confusion. "Who are you?" Elias asked. Her eyes narrowed slightly, studying him the way a scientist studies a rare discovery. "A human," she said slowly, as if confirming something important. "This is early." Before Elias could ask what she meant, the station shuddered. Red lights flared across the walls. Alarms screamed in a harsh alien tone. She turned sharply, tension flashing across her calm face. "They felt you," she said. "Who felt me?" Elias demanded. She did not answer. The floor trembled again, stronger this time. Elias' sensors lit up with warnings. Multiple warp signatures, ships arriving fast. "Unknown fleets," his system reported. "Weapons hot." Elias swore under his breath. "They're not friendly, are they?" "No," she said. "They never are." The station walls cracked as energy blasts struck from outside. The silence of deep space was broken by violence. Elias made a decision. "Follow me," he said, turning toward the hangar. She hesitated. "You don't understand what this means." "I understand enough," Elias replied. "Someone is attacking and I'm not dying in a hallway." More impacts rocked the station. Metal tore. Air screamed through ruptures. She followed. They ran through collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris. Elias moved with trained speed, pulling her out of the path of a collapsing beam without thinking. She was lighter than she looked, almost weightless. Alien soldiers breached the station ahead of them. Tall, armored figures with glowing weapons, their movements sharp and efficient. Elias raised his rifle and fired. The human weapon roared, punching through alien armor with raw force. The first enemy fell, surprised. The second raised its weapon too slowly. Elias dropped it as well. She stopped, staring. "They said humans were weak," she whispered. "They say a lot of things," Elias answered, reloading. More enemies poured in. Elias took cover and fought, using the narrow hall to his advantage. He was outnumbered, outmatched in technology but not in will. He moved constantly, pushing forward, never giving them time to adapt. She watched as he fought with controlled aggression, every movement precise, every decision fast. Humans were not supposed to fight like this. Not yet. When the last alien fell, the corridor was quiet again, filled with smoke and broken metal. Elias breathed hard. "We need to go, now." They reached the hangar just as the outer shield failed. Enemy ships closed in, firing relentlessly. Elias sprinted to his vessel and powered it up. "Get in." She stepped inside, looking around the small human ship with fascination and disbelief. "This is what you use to cross the stars?" she asked. "It gets the job done," Elias said, sealing the hatch. He launched just as the station behind them erupted in light, massive sections breaking apart under enemy fire. They escaped into open space, weaving between explosions. Only when they were clear did Elias finally look at her again. "Now," he said, "you're going to explain." She stood quietly for a moment, then nodded. "My name does not translate into your language," she said, "but I am a watcher." Elias frowned. "Watcher of what?" "Of civilizations," she replied. "Of timelines, of futures." He laughed once, sharp and tired. "That's a lot for one being." "There are many of us," she said. "Or there were." She looked at him with something close to worry. "Humanity was never meant to reach this point so soon," she continued. "Your species was marked for observation only, slow development, limited expansion." Elia's expression hardened. "Marked by who?" "By those who fear chaos," she said, "those who control balance." "And you?" Elias asked. "I was meant to watch," she said softly, "not to be seen." He leaned back in his seat, absorbing this. "Well, I saw you." "Yes," she replied, "and that changes everything." His ship sensors screamed again. Enemy ships were still following. Elias grinned grimly. Then they picked the wrong day. He engaged the engines, pushing the ship beyond safe limits. The human vessel surged forward, tearing through space in a way alien ships struggled to match. She watched the stars stretch into lines, her mind racing. Humans were not just advancing. They were breaking the rules. As the ship vanished into hyperspace, she realized something terrifying and undeniable. The future she had been watching was no longer the future that would come. The ship burst out of hyperspace near a quiet human outpost, a small ring station orbiting a blue gas giant. Elias guided the damaged vessel in carefully, engines overheating and warning lights flashing across every screen. He had pushed the ship harder than it was ever designed to go. Docking clamps locked on. The moment the engines shut down, silence filled the cockpit. Elias exhaled slowly and removed his helmet. His hair was damp with sweat, his hands still shaking from adrenaline. Only then did the weight of what had happened begin to settle. He turned to look at her. She stood near the back of the cockpit, hands folded calmly, eyes moving across the human controls with intense focus. The glowing patterns within her eyes shifted constantly, like thoughts made visible. "You are injured," she said. "I'll live," Elias replied. "Ship took more damage than I did." She nodded, then looked toward the station outside the viewport. "This place, it is human." "Yeah," Elias said. "Small outpost, research, repairs, fuel, not much else." Her expression changed. Curiosity mixed with something deeper, concern. "They followed us," she said. Elia's jaw tightened. "I know." As if on command, long-range sensors detected incoming signals, warp signatures, multiple, too many. Elias activated the station channel. "This is Elias Verne, Scout Class. I'm requesting immediate lockdown and military alert." The station commander's voice came back tense but controlled. "Scout Verne, we're reading hostile signatures. What did you bring with you?" "Trouble," Elias said. "Big trouble. Dock alarms blared across the station. Defense platforms rotated into position. Small human fighters launched from hidden bays, their engines flaring brightly. She watched everything in silence. "They are early," she whispered. Elias glanced at her. "You keep saying that." She finally turned to face him fully. "Because it matters. Everything that is happening now was meant to happen centuries later." "Then explain," Elias said firmly. "No more fragments." She studied him for a long moment. Not his body, not his weapon, but something deeper. His choices, his reactions. His refusal to panic. "You are not special," she said at last, "and that is why this is dangerous." Elias raised an eyebrow. "That's comforting," she continued. "There is no prophecy about you, no chosen human. You are ordinary, a single soldier." "Good," Elias said. "I hate destiny stories." Her lips curved slightly. "That humor is also unexpected." The first enemy ships dropped out of warp, surrounding the station like predators closing in on prey. Massive, angular vessels with weapons that glowed like captured suns. "They are enforcers," she said, "agents of the old powers." "Galactic Council?" Elias asked. She shook her head. "The Council answers to them. These beings existed before most stars formed. They decide which species rise and which are limited." Elias clenched his fists. "And humans were limited." "Yes." The station shook as the first shots were fired. Human defense platforms returned fire, bright streaks of energy flashing across space. Compared to the enemy ships, human weapons looked small, weak, but they hit. One enforcer ship staggered as multiple human cannons focused fire on a single point, tearing through its shields by sheer persistence. She stared. "They concentrate fire instinctively." "That's called basic tactics," Elias said. "For you," she replied. "Others rely on overwhelming force." Inside the station, soldiers rushed through corridors taking positions. Civilians were moved into shelters. Humanity responded not with panic but coordination. She watched it all unfold with growing disbelief. "This reaction speed," she said quietly, "this unity, it should not exist yet." Elias opened a channel to Fleet Command, transmitting everything he knew. He did not hide her existence. He did not soften the threat. Humans deserved the truth. Fleet Command listened. Then they acted. Within minutes, distant warp signatures flared to life. Human warships, real warships, changed course and accelerated toward the outpost. The enforcers noticed. "They are recalculating," she said. "They did not expect resistance." "Neither did a lot of people," Elias muttered. The battle intensified. An enforcer ship broke through the defense line and fired directly at the station. Elias grabbed a console as the structure shook violently. Lights flickered. Atmosphere alarms screamed. Before panic could spread, human interceptors slammed into the enemy ship at full speed, sacrificing themselves to damage its weapons. Defense cannons finished the job. The enforcer vessel exploded in a silent bloom of fire. Silence followed, brief, heavy. She felt something she had not felt in a very long time, fear. "They will escalate," she said, "now that you have proven capable." "Good," Elias replied. "Let them." She looked at him sharply. "You do not understand. They do not fight wars. They erase possibilities." "Then they picked the wrong species," Elias said. "We're very hard to erase." The first human fleet arrived. Massive gray ships dropped from warp in perfect formation, weapons charging immediately. They did not hesitate. They did not try to communicate. They attacked. The battle that followed shook space itself. Human ships maneuvered aggressively, using terrain, debris, even damaged enemy vessels as cover. They adapted on the fly, changing tactics every few minutes. She watched as humans learned enemy shield frequencies in real time and adjusted weapons accordingly. Watched as commanders sacrificed ground to win momentum. Watched as ordinary humans did extraordinary things without needing permission from fate. "This is wrong," she whispered. Elias heard her. "What's wrong is someone deciding we're not allowed to exist fully." The enforcers began to retreat. not because they were defeated, but because they were uncertain. Uncertainty was something they were not designed to handle. When the last hostile ship vanished into warp, the system fell quiet, debris drifted, rescue teams moved in. Elias finally allowed himself to sit down. She stood very still. "You should be afraid of us," she said. Elias looked up at her. "Are you afraid?" She hesitated. "Yes," she admitted. "Then you're starting to understand humans," Elias replied. "We do our best work scared." She walked to the viewport and looked at the human fleet holding position around the station. "For millions of cycles," she said, "we watched civilizations rise and fall. We guided them subtly, controlled growth, prevented collapse." "And decided who gets to matter," Elias said. "Yes," she replied. "We believed chaos was the greatest threat." She turned to him, her expression heavy. "But humans are chaos with purpose." Elias smiled faintly. "That's one way to put it." She took a slow breath. "By seeing me, you broke a lock, a rule older than this galaxy." "What happens now?" Elias asked. "Now," she said, "the Watchers will come." Elias stood. "Then we'll talk to them." "They will not talk," she said. "They will try to reset you." "Then they'll fail," Elias said simply. She studied him again, deeper than before. For the first time in her existence, she made a choice that was not calculated by probability. "I will not return to them," she said. Elias blinked. "You're switching sides." "I am abandoning my post," she replied. Because for the first time, the future is not something to observe. It is something to defend. Outside, human ships prepared for what was coming next. And across the galaxy, ancient beings turned their attention fully toward humanity, not as a subject to monitor, but as a force they might no longer control. The galaxy did not sleep after the battle at the outpost. Signals spread faster than ships ever could. Reports crossed systems. Old powers listened. Humanity had been noticed. Elias Verne stood on the command deck of a human battlecruiser, watching stars drift past the wide viewport. The ship was not the largest in the fleet, but it was strong, built with human logic, thick armor, layered systems, and weapons designed to keep firing even when damaged. Behind him, the Watcher stood quietly. She no longer hid herself. Her presence was known now, and there was no reason to pretend otherwise. Human officers moved around them, calm and focused. No one stared. No one panicked. They had accepted the impossible and moved on because there was work to do. Fleet Command had listened to everything. They had believed. That alone had changed the future. "The Watchers are gathering," she said softly. "They do not move fleets as you understand them. They bend space. They arrive where they are needed." Elias nodded. "We've seen stranger things already." She looked at him. "You are not afraid." "I am," Elias said honestly. "But fear doesn't decide for us. Action does." The human fleet dropped out of warp near a region of space marked on no map. No stars, no planets, just darkness that felt deeper than empty space should. This was where the Watchers waited. Space rippled. Then they appeared. They did not arrive in ships. They emerged as vast shapes of light and shadow, forms too large and too complex to fully understand. Each Watcher carried the weight of ages, of civilizations shaped and broken quietly. Human sensors struggled to define them. Numbers failed. Physics bent. Silence filled the void. Then a voice spoke, not through sound but through existence itself. "You have advanced beyond your boundary," the Watchers said together. "This path leads to collapse." Human ships did not retreat. Elias stepped forward, standing at the front of the deck as if distance meant nothing. "We didn't choose your boundaries," he said. "You chose them for us." "You were protected," the Watchers replied, "guided, limited for your own survival." "You decided what survival meant," Elias said, "without asking." The Watcher beside him felt something tighten inside her. This was not how confrontations went. Species usually pleaded, or raged, or broke. Humans argued. The Watchers shifted, light folding in on itself. "You are a risk," they said, "a variable that spreads." Elias crossed his arms. So was fire, so was flight, so was space travel. Progress is risk. We prevent extinction, the Watchers replied. And cause it, Elias said, quietly. The silence stretched. Human fleets powered weapons not in threat but in readiness. They did not fire, they waited. Waiting was something humans were good at when it mattered. The Watcher who had followed Elias stepped forward. They are different, she said to her kind. I have observed since the first cells divided. Humans adapt faster than control allows. They do not need us. You are compromised, the Watchers said. I am informed, she replied. The Watchers turned their attention fully to humanity. Step back, they commanded. Return to your limited arc. Elias shook his head. No, energy surged. Space twisted violently as the Watchers attempted to act not to destroy but to reset, to rewind, to remove possibility. Human systems screamed warnings, time distortions, causality errors, but something unexpected happened. Human technology did not fail, it resisted, not because it was stronger, but because it was messy, redundant, built by beings who expected things to go wrong. Ships lost systems and rerouted power. Crews adapted instantly. Scientists on distant worlds adjusted equations in real time, sending updates across the fleet. The Watchers hesitated. How? They asked. Elias answered calmly. You built perfect plans, we build backups. Human ships fired not to kill but to disrupt. Waves of chaotic energy flooded the region, making precise control impossible. The Watchers' greatest strength became a weakness. They required balance. Humans brought imbalance. The Watchers recoiled as space stabilized around human presence instead of collapsing. This is unsustainable, they warned. So was the universe before life, Elias replied. The Watcher at Elias' side felt awe swell within her. This was not dominance through power. This was survival through understanding struggle. One by one, the Watchers withdrew their influence. Not defeated, outgrown, the pressure lifted, space settled. Silence returned, but it was different now. Lighter. The Watcher's final message echoed faintly. You will face chaos without us. Elias smiled slightly. We already do. The Watchers vanished. The galaxy remained. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Species long suppressed by invisible limits felt freedom for the first time. Human ships did not conquer. They assisted. They shared knowledge, defended trade routes, and broke old monopolies of power. Humanity did not replace the Watchers as rulers. They replaced them as guardians, not perfect ones, just present ones. Elias returned to Earth months later. He stood on a quiet hillside, watching the sky as ships passed overhead openly now. The Watcher stood beside him, her glow softer, her presence grounded. What will you do now? Elias asked. She looked thoughtful. Learn, live, make mistakes. Sounds human, Elias said. She smiled truly this time. For the first time, she said, the future is not written. Elias looked up at the stars. Good, he replied. We never like being told what comes next. Far above, the galaxy continued to turn, no longer watched from the shadows, but shaped by those brave enough to stand in the light.